Hello everyone and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today we're going over some notes from the TWAB. I have about just like a 5-page script I'm going to get through here with some notes about the changes coming up, and we're going to start off with everyone's favorite green webby stuff, Strand. Love to see it. Again, just wanted to note before we start this video, I'll be paraphrasing and putting in some of my own thoughts and notes while I'm reading this out. So I'm quoting some of the TWAB directly here while also going into some thoughts of my own. So I will also leave in the TWAB in the description below, so you can go check that out and read it fully for yourself if you haven't already. So we have some new Strand aspects incoming. The first one we'll start off with is the Hunter aspect named Threaded Spectre. This will allow you to leave behind a decoy after activating your class ability, woven from strand matter that draws the attention of nearby combatants after taking significant damage, or when combatants approach, the decoy will detonate, dealing damage and releasing. So this is playing into the power fantasy. I mean, it's very like Hunter-esque, no invisibility, but leaving a decoy behind that can blow things up is pretty cool. We'll have to see how the explosion works. It also will leave behind a tangle, so we don't really know how it will work out practically, but it sounds really strong, especially if you're in a GM and you have the ability to leave behind a decoy. It could be helpful, it could also be really bad, depending on how much damage is required to detonate this decoy. I think it said it requires a significant amount of damage. We'll have to see what that is exactly, but one can assume in high level content you'll probably reach that threshold fairly quickly, so it might be a nothing burger. Titans rejoice because you're getting a little bit of range with the aspect Flechette Storm. I don't know how to say that properly, but I tried. So while sliding, activating your charged melee ability, you will leap into the air, knocking nearby targets away and dealing damage. While airborne, activate your charged melee again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. Repeatedly activating melee will chain additional throws. So again, it gives Titans some extra range. Could be broken, could be very bad, but in theory this sounds like something that will just clear up a lot of ads and suspend Guardians and Crucible. So, you know, suspend is really broken, and Warlocks, you're gonna like your aspect for that same reason. So with the Warlock aspect, the Wanderer, tangles you throw attach to enemies and detonate into a suspending burst. Threadling final blows create a tangle. And after it detonates, threadlings will also come out of that explosion. So again, this could be really cool, or not. But again, tangles and threadlings are something Warlocks can spec into a lot. So again, this should also mention that the Wanderer travels through the air seeking targets just like a regular tangle, and it latches on. And after it explodes, it also will have a suspending detonation that deals damage and suspends any nearby enemies. So this means you don't need to run a shackle grenade. You can just run threadlings and, you know, with those threadlings get a final blow, make a tangle, throw a bunch of tangles, and you instantly have suspend. So again, this does leave some things to chance, because if you don't get a threadling final blow, then you're not going to get that tangle and you won't be able to suspend. But there are other ways you can suspend and trigger unstop. So again, it isn't necessary, but suspend again in PvE is just busted. So until they nerf that, anything that suspends is just going to be really good. Next, we move on to some economy changes. There's a lot changing in the economy, so we'll get into that here. So as some of you may know, for the first time, there will be no power band increase in Season 21. The power floor, which is 1600, that's what all your items are going to be without being infused. The soft cap, which is where you start, or you stop getting like insane increases in your gears, about 1750. That's when you want to start doing your powerful stuff. And then your powerful cap is 1800. That means after you hit 1800 with all your gear and weapons, you want to start doing your pinnacles, which is capped off at 1810. So the max your gear and weapons can be is about exactly 1810, and then your artifacts will carry you higher than that for endgame content. This will not change over the course of Season 21. If players hit the pinnacle cap during Season 20, they will remain at the pinnacle cap in Season 21. This just means you're going to start next season in 1810, or wherever you end up, and your artifact will then take you higher than that. So if you're 1800, you'll be 1800. Same for everyone. This is a really nice change because you don't have to invest more time. Time is something that Destiny takes a lot of, and this is kind of a mindless, very pointless grind. You know, you'd rather be grinding for weapons or literally anything else than a number that just gets bigger for no reason. And yeah, there's a reason to level up for endgame content, but again, to have to do it every single season is just so repetitive and unnecessary. And the seasonal model is changing. We're happy about that. I discussed that in a video you're seeing on your screen right now. So if you would like to watch that, you can. And this is one change. I hope many more are to come. Armor focusing is making its debut next season. Standard decryption. You will be able to decrypt engrams for free. Players receive random drops for standard exotic engram loot pools, no additional cost. You'll also be able to focus exotic armor pieces. This is fantastic, especially for those who don't have exotics from really old seasons. I know I have a friend who introduced to the game. She's Guardian rank 8. And she's got just about everything else done, except you have to get, I think, 85 exotics in order to hit rank 9, which is really silly for a player who started a year ago, because there are so many exotics in the game that are quite literally randomly rolled. So the ability to focus this will be awesome. So you'll be able to focus an engram to receive a random roll of an exotic from the associated expansion. You can get all the ones from the Red War, Forsaken armor pieces, Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, Witch Queen, and Lightfall. It requires ownership of the associated expansion as well as having previously acquired all armor pieces within the engram for your class. So it's still going to require you to own them, but once you get them, say you have a collections roll or whatever, this will allow you to acquire a better roll, or at least have the chance to. It will cost 1 exotic engram, 30,000 glimmer, and 1 ascendant shard. For the tier 2 exotic focusing of armor, you will focus specific exotic armor for high cost, requires ownership, of course, of the associated expansion, as well as having previously acquired that piece of armor. It has a higher cost, so it's still 1 exotic engram, twice the glimmer though at 60,000, 3 ascendant shards, up from just the 1, and 1 exotic cipher, which you can get weekly from Xur. Other sources of focusable exotic engrams, random world drops, season pass paid and free tracks, vendor reputation tracks, and so on. So this is awesome, having a way to reliably get good rolls of armor that we all use consistently. It'll save time, you know, going through lost sectors or hoping for the Vex Strike Force to come out of nowhere. Like I said, I guess this isn't really something you would do if you haven't gotten these exotics, because you have to own them to be able to roll to focus them, which is kind of silly. Hopefully they find a way to focus them without having them, and I'm sure people will be okay with a higher cost like you see in the exotic kiosk, but for now that remains an issue. Next we have the deep sight activation and crafting economy changes. In Season 21, we will be adding the ability to electively activate deep sight on weapon instances to obtain pattern progress. This capability will be accessible through a new mod slot in the weapon detail screen for eligible weapons. So to perform an activation on a weapon, you will need a new deep sight harmonizer currency. Non-raid weapons will cost 1 harmonizer, while raid weapons will require 15 spoils of conquest in addition to the 1 harmonizer cost. This deep sight harmonizer currency can be obtained from season pass rank rewards, 3 in the free ranks and another 3 in the paid. This will be the sole source of this currency for the initial rollout of the feature. Additionally, only 1 harmonizer can be stored in this inventory at any time. This currency does not stack. So we're gonna stop right there because I'm really upset that we're getting more currencies. I shouldn't. I'm not that upset. It just bugs me because they're talking about how there are too many currencies in the game. The community knows this is a problem, and we're adding 1 more. I don't know why this can't be a currency that already exists in the game, but again, here we are. So, and they don't stack in your inventory, so of course you're gonna have the 1 in your inventory and like a bunch in your postmaster. So, at least I see potential for that. You only get 3 from the free battle pass and 3 from the paid, and then after that, which we're gonna get to in a moment, you can earn them from, actually, I don't know if you can. Let's get back into it though. So not all weapon instances will be compatible with deep sight activation. You will be prevented from activating deep sight for a weapon that has already had its pattern unlocked. Weapons that previously had deep sight will be ineligible. You cannot activate deep sight on a weapon instance which originally had been acquired with deep sight, nor can you activate deep sight multiple times on a single weapon. However, weapons purchased from Zur and the gunsmith will support the deep sight activation. This is going to be really nice, again, this update for players who didn't pick up patterns for certain seasons when they were around, or simply took a break and you were unable to get them. So if you fit that description, make sure you're checking Zur's and Banshee's inventory weekly. I do weekly Zur videos, and I'm thinking about doing some Banshee videos as well. So if you're afraid you'll miss those at those weapons at those specific vendors, you can check out the videos down below. And the currency thing, it isn't too big of a deal, but again, it just clogs up your inventory. It's slightly annoying, but let's move on. We got some more stuff to cover here. So, some more currency stuff. Legendary shard cost will be removed from all crafting components. Glimmer and enhancement core cost will remain untouched. So that means for crafting, you won't have to use legendary shards. Nice. Next bullet here, we have enhanced weapon cost are based on weapon masterwork cost, and thus will still require legendary shards, as we are not yet modifying the weapon masterwork economy in season 21. So there are more changes to come with this. They mention, again, I'm mostly paraphrasing this stuff. So I'm happy about this change because crafting is something you do a lot of, and having to use legendary shards, it's nice because I'm poor with those, and enhancement cores. So hopefully they fix that as well. Another quality of life change coming. So let's get into it. Over the last year, the raid and dungeon team has added triumphs to new raids and dungeons, Duality, Spire of the Watcher, and Root of Nightmares, which give a boosted chance to receive the exotic weapon drop for that raid or dungeon once completed. In Season 21, we're adding boosted triumphs to legacy content with randomly dropped exotic weapons to bring them up to our standard for raids and dungeons. We added them to existing triumphs and are retroactive, so if you've already done the requisite triumphs, you immediately start getting a boost. I'm so happy for this. I will list the raids and dungeons below that are getting this triumph boost. There were a lot of specific triumphs, but I'm not going to get too much into that. If you want to view them, they're in the TWAB, and I'll post that below. But I've been trying to get Touch of Malice since King's Fall came back. It's not really a meta weapon at the moment, so I'm not too worried about it. However, just having done the 20-30 King's Fall clears that I've done and not having that weapon, it's annoying. So this is great for everyone who has been trying to get that one raid or dungeon exotic for the longest time, but you're just not able to do it. So Last Wish, you'll get the Triumph update there for 1000 Voices, Deepstone Crypt for Eyes of Tomorrow, Vow of Disciple, The Disciple for Collective Obligation, Vault of Glass, of course, affects Mythoclast, King's Fall, and Touch of Malice as well. Another bright spot, Archie the dog is coming back, so get those macros ready for petting that dog. And the tracker will be coming back as well. If you didn't notice, the tracker for Good Boy Protocol went away when Archie the dog went away, so that'll be coming back this next season as well. So those of you that had the macros going, I'm excited to see what number you can get that Good Boy Protocol up to, because it was insane. I know some people had those up in the millions. So one more thing, which seems to be a bit of a controversial topic right now in the community. I'm gonna talk about it here, and that is the season pass is going up from 1,000 silver to 1,200 silver, and also season pass plus 10 ranks bundle is going from 2,000 to 2,200. So listen, things cost money. Stuff isn't free. I wish it was. The base game is free still, so that's great. Honestly, I wasn't surprised that this happened. I was actually surprised it didn't come sooner. Hopefully, they will add some kind of 1,200 silver option, 2,200 silver option, or you can just buy it straight up, so that you don't have to spend extra if you don't want to. But other AAA games, which Destiny is, it just has a different model, have increased prices from around $60 to about $70. So this should be expected. Either way, it might deter some people, and that's okay. If you don't have the money, you shouldn't spend it. The good thing is the game is, at least the base game, is free to play. And there's still a decent amount of content there to play. The price hike isn't too outrageous in my opinion. However, the option or lack thereof of a 1,200 silver bundle or a 2,200 silver bundle not existing, that's really annoying, and they should definitely fix that so people actually buy it. There's some trial stuff in this TWAB as well, but there was a lot to go over, so I think I'll save that for another video that I'll cover as well. So if you could leave a like if you enjoyed the video, it'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't done that. It would also help me out a lot. Comment below respectfully how you feel about some of these changes, additions, etc. And I'll see you guys all next time.